Have you ever looked at a complex blueprint and just marveled at how a massive skyscraper starts out as nothing more than lines on a page? Well, welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're diving into a famous piece of ancient literature, but we aren't looking at it as a religious debate. Nope, we're treating it as a masterpiece of architectural structuring. We're going to examine the sheer structural genius of how this ancient narrative organizes the cosmos. Think of it like reading the foundational schematics of a giant cosmic skyscraper.
Okay, let's jump right into the text. Just listen to the rhythmic cadence here. Let the earth sprout vegetation. We're not just reading a story, we're literally watching a deliberate, calculated sequence unfold right in front of us. It's a complete progression from an empty, abstract canvas to a vibrant, functional space. The author is laying down the landscaping, step by meticulous step. So, here's our blueprint for today's explainer. We're going to start with the overarching blueprint of creation, then move into day 3, taking root. After that, we'll check out day 4's cosmic clocks, day 5, filling the voids, and finally wrap up with the overarching architecture of order. Let's get into it. Section 1, the blueprint of creation. Let's establish the fundamental framework this ancient text uses to organize the entire universe. When we follow the literal timeline of the text across days 3, 4, and 5, we see this super logical evolution. It goes right from foundational landscaping to bringing in the actual inhabitants. It's pure construction logic, guys. I mean, a master builder wouldn't bring in the living room furniture before the floors are even poured, right? It's exactly the same here. Day 3 handles the foundational landscaping. The environment gets stabilized. Then on day 4, the electrical and utility work is basically installed up in the sky. Finally, on day 5, the dynamic tenants are actually permitted to move in. It is an incredibly methodical sequence.
Now, what is truly fascinating is the repeating architectural mechanism that drives this whole narrative forward. It is practically an algorithm. Every single phase follows an absolutely unbreakable 3-step rule. First, the command is issued, let there be. Second, the execution is confirmed, and it was so. Notice there's no negotiation, no delay. Third, we hit the evaluation phase, where the work is inspected and deemed good. This rigid repeating structure is exactly what gives the text its feeling of supreme, unshakable order. You can almost feel the rhythm of a hammer striking a nail with every single cycle.
Moving on to section 2, day 3, taking root. Let's look at the third day and see how the text builds the literal foundation for life. The source text describes the earth bringing forth specific botanical elements, taking abstract chaos and moving it into categorized order. We aren't just getting some generic wave of green stuff here on day 3. The text is highly specific. It moves from general vegetation to plants yielding seed to fruit trees bearing fruit with the seeds actually inside them. So why does this matter? Well, because it highlights the self-sustaining nature of this new architecture. The design is built to perpetuate itself. The seeds are basically the code for the future, embedded directly into the foundation. The absolutely crucial point here is this deep, deep desire for categorization. It totally reflects the human psychological need to find structure in the natural world. If you read the source text, the phrase, according to its kind, repeats relentlessly. It's all about establishing boundaries. An apple tree makes an apple tree. Wheat makes wheat. Order triumphs over chaos. This was an ancient, brilliant way of defining the genetic boundaries that keep our complex ecosystem stable and predictable. Think about it. Ancient agriculture relied entirely on these predictable, unbroken boundaries for literal survival. If you planted wheat, you absolutely had to know that the harvest would yield wheat every single time. Section 3, day 4, cosmic clocks. Having landscaped the earth, our blueprint moves up to the heavens on the 4th day to establish the utilities. The text introduces celestial bodies not just as pretty objects in the sky, but with a highly specific job: to separate light from darkness. To really understand this structurally, you have to know that ancient Near Eastern cultures usually viewed the cosmos not as an empty vacuum, but as a literal, physical dome, like a solid structure over the earth. Within that framework, the sun and the moon are functional installations. Just like walls separate rooms in a house, these lights are structural elements built right into the dome to keep the day and the night from collapsing back into chaotic darkness. And this brilliantly illustrates how the sun and moon are framed as cosmic clocks. They're given explicit job descriptions to act as signs, to mark seasons, to dictate days, and to measure years. Think about what that actually meant to ancient humanity. Before wristwatches, before digital calendars on our phones, the sky was the ultimate organizing mechanism. You needed to know when to plant, when to harvest, and how to navigate. The text elevates these lights to the role of cosmic administrators, ensuring the smooth operation of the entire world below. Notice the profound symmetry of the text here. It perfectly contrasts the assigned jurisdictions of the two great lights. It's all about balance, right? On one side, the greater light is given authority. It's meant to rule the day. On the other side, the lesser light, along with the stars, rules the night. It's an absolute masterclass in delegated authority and perfect symmetry. The architect is assigning rulers to these newly separated domains, ensuring there is no space, daytime or nighttime, left without organized governance.
That brings us to Section 4, Day 5, Filling the Voids. With the environments built and the clocks fully set, the 5th day is all about filling up those empty spaces.
Notice the incredibly vibrant language here. The architect is finally bringing dynamic, moving inhabitants into these newly structured realms. I mean, we've spent days building this massive terrarium, installing the lights, growing the food, and now finally the action begins. Swarm with swarms is just such an evocative phrase. It literally bursts with motion, density, and life. The static architecture is suddenly animated. The output of Day 5 is incredibly diverse. But notice how it meticulously returns to that core organizational phrase, according to their kinds. Even when the text absolutely explodes with this massive, chaotic-sounding variety of swimming and flying creatures, from the giant sea monsters way down to the smallest swarming fish, the architect quickly reins it all back in. The text ensures they are all bound by strict categories. It's a really beautiful balance. The diversity doesn't break the order of the building. It exists safely within the order. Everything has a place, and everything has a type.
Section 5, the architecture of order. As we step back from the specific days, let's take a look at the overarching symmetry of this ancient construction project.
And God saw that it was good serves as the final quality control check in our architectural blueprint. It effectively closes out the structural work of days 3, 4, and 5. It's basically the ancient equivalent of a building inspector signing off on a permit. Every single phase of construction, the plants, the lights, the birds, the fish, is evaluated, approved, and deemed structurally sound before the next phase even begins. It provides the reader with this profound sense of safety and intentionality. The universe, according to this text, is not an accident. It is inspected, verified, and good.
So, I'm going to leave you with this thought to ponder. Why did our ancestors structure their understanding of the world with such meticulous, poetic symmetry? Was this architectural framing merely a literal way to categorize the physical world around them? Or was it a vital psychological survival mechanism to make sense of a vast, unpredictable, and frankly intimidating cosmos? Either way, the brilliant structural integrity of this ancient text remains absolutely undeniable. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep exploring, keep analyzing the structures around you, and I'll catch you next time.